Hi, everyone. We in IT are here to talk to you today a little bit about what we in IT do for the city. I'd like to share a screen with you that shows really how we're laid out. We have found over the years that we're laid out a little bit differently than a lot of other IT departments are. We don't tend to follow the strict traditional IT and just servers, computers, printers, that sort of thing. So just to kind of go over this quickly is, I'm Sarah VanWormer, I'm the IT director. I have Mike Nofs with me today, and I have Chad Frein with me today. Mike Nofs is our network operations manager, and he oversees our network architect, Ryan Stang, and Glenn Collins, our network computer specialist. And currently we have a vacant position open. We've had it open for just about a year. Chad Frein is our business analyst and GIS manager. And currently he oversees Elizabeth Goebel, who's our GIS analyst. And right now we have a vacant help desk manager. Mike is actually overseeing our help desk employees at the moment, and that's Joby and Stacy. So, one of the things that actually our primary focus in IT is that we help to support 34 departments who all have different business needs. They have different goals themselves. But ultimately, we as the city are focused on meeting those community results that the commission established a few years ago. So we use a system called PriorityBased Budgeting, as you're probably aware of. But with that PriorityBased Budgeting system, we gear our budget and our services towards meeting these goals that you see on this slide. So as an internal service department, we help those 34 departments that are more outward facing than we are to meet these goals. And there's a few different ways that we do that. And in IT, we have 3, sometimes more than that, paths that we kind of travel down and that we work on to help these departments. I'm going to start with Mike Nofs, our network operations manager, to have him talk a little bit about his role in meeting these goals, and the fact that, yes, we do support traditional IT, but there are a lot of other things that within that network operations group that they do to help support. So Mike, I'm going to pass the baton to you.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, as the network operations manager, I'm in charge of the infrastructure that the city provides to their employees so that they can get their jobs done. In that, there are more than 13 different facilities that we have connected on our network. And really what we try to do is provide the software, the hardware that every IT department provides, but really provide communication tools and efficiency tools to allow them to do their job very well, to do it as efficiently as possible. So that includes email, that includes internet, it includes department-specific software that they need to do. And through our network architect and our network support specialist, we maintain that infrastructure. We keep it up and running as efficiently as possible 24/7 when we can. And we're proud that we do that a great deal. And then through the help desk technicians, they are our face of the department that really goes out and interacts with the employees on a personal level. Fixing issues with their software, with their hardware, anything that they need help with to get their job done. So that's really where we stand. Anything
so one of the things that I would ask you maybe to expand on a little bit, Mike, is the fact that you were a project manager for us for many years. And when Mike came to work for us in the city, he started out kind of in that help desk role. So he's overly familiar with hundreds of calls coming in and setting him in a variety of different places. And I think one of the valuable things that you bring to our IT department is because you have all these different levels of experience, you do a really great job of looking at our infrastructure and saying, hey, how are we going to protect this for years to come? What do we need to make sure that we're putting in place to protect those investments for years to come? So maybe you could talk a little bit about the strategy that you've used and some of the services that we have as part of our budget in order to keep that infrastructure in good shape.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, so as a 21-year employee, I did start as a help desk technician, furthered that up with the network support specialist essentially there. then became the manager of that role when it was smaller than it is today. And then later after that, turned into the project manager in 2013. And so really what that involved was trying to look forward as to what needs were going to be in the coming years and forecasting how to get there and taking those initial steps and intermediate steps to be there in the long run. So a lot of that is forecasting what tools are going to be available in the future, how much those tools cost, how much training those tools are going to need so that our employees can use them easily. And in doing that, we use a multiple amount of resources, but our biggest one is reaching out with other state and local governments and county governments as well, a group called Mich that we're a part of. And I personally sit on the board of that group, but really what it is it's a sounding board for all IT directors and IT employees to talk about future needs of their entities, problems that we are encountering in common so we can help each other through peer networking and really mutual aid too. So that's what we try to do. We try to stay on top of things. Of course, current events we keep track of what's going on out there, and just helping each other, really. Always keeping an open mind and remembering that we're here to help. So, which is always fun. That's the basis of IT.
Yeah, and the three of us are actually very involved with that My GMIS group, and we've made a lot of friends across the state that when something happens, we can say, hey, you guys, what the heck, what do we do here? We've used solutions that other people have helped us with. And to Mike and Chad's credit, we were in a very good position when the pandemic hit because of the investments and the forecasting. We were able to get a lot of people up and running off-site very quickly. As you can all see watching this video, we are all working from home, and we have been since March. And we have a lot of staff that were able to very quickly and very safely work from home. I don't want to get into this a whole lot because this is a very public video that we're getting ready to post, but Mike and Chad both also help with cybersecurity. It's a question that we get asked every once in a while. We were just asked that in the commission meeting the other night, and it's not something that we talk about publicly, but it is something that we have our finger on the pulse, in that My GMIS group helps us to keep that finger on the pulse. So with that, I would actually like to move over to Chad, who is our business analyst, and he is also our GIS manager. So Chad came from a role that was the IT operations manager, a lot like what Mike is doing now. And one of the things that Chad really excels at is he takes a look at a lot of our business processes and says, whoa, why are you spending 10 hours a week on that when I can get you down to spending 1 hour a week on that? He's very familiar with a lot of our big software packages and has spent a lot of time with people that use those software packages to help them create smoother processes. And he's now overseeing GIS as well to help us really utilize what we have as an enterprise agreement, which means we have all the tools for GIS to help us to utilize those tools without having to purchase additional tools or services. So I'm very sorry, Chad, if I completely stole your thunder on your introduction, but if you would take it from there.
Yeah, like Sarah said, I have a dual role as business analyst and the GIS manager. My main responsibilities as business analyst is supporting our financial and human resources and our utility billing software. It runs our day-to-day and takes in payments. It's very public facing. So that needs to be up and running 100% of the time. So we keep a close eye on that, using different metrics and monitoring software. And with that, many of our departments use that software. So I'm first point of contact for any changes that need to be applied, or any issues that come up during their day. I tend to work on it and contact support to work with that software vendor support to make sure that we're up and running constantly with that. Then with our being GIS manager as well, we're looking at how to utilize maps to to get information out to the public, and also to use it internally for things such as development for our downtown area. We're currently working on a couple maps to get some information out to companies that want to get in downtown and get their business up and running. So we're providing information on our buildings for them. So my responsibilities with the overall goals is economic vitality and looking at well-planned growth and development, and just trying to simplify and save money where we can on different processes, trying to bring it down to making things a little more efficient, using technology, trying to eliminate paper and employees coming in and out of the office, and getting them more remote.
Yes. And actually, Chad, and maybe I could ask you this question too. So Chad was the primary person in the very beginning of this pandemic that helped with the mobile technology side. It kind of fell into his old role along with the new role on working with a new process, really was making sure that people could in fact work from home, that they have the technology to work from home, they have the hardware, they have the connections that they needed. Chad, maybe you could talk a little bit about what that was like for you when all of a sudden everybody was like, I need a mobile device. What are we gonna do? And we were like, okay, well, let's figure this out. So maybe you could talk a little bit about how where we were in February compared to where we were now, what the difference is and how we got there.
Sure, yeah. In February, very comfortable, nice and easy going, very steady form of things, and then ultimately COVID hit, and the request for remote access was instantaneous, and we were able to provide remote access to all of the people, all of the employees that needed it, because we knew our inventory, we knew what we had on hand. We already had set up a mobile solution prior to the pandemic. So it was knowing that information that helped make things transition very quickly. So it actually was a very quick process, and it happened over a couple of weeks, and it extended into the following months. But just knowing the information that we have, and keeping inventory of our products, and being ready for video conferencing and for remote access, we were able to transition employees very quickly into allowing them to work offsite.
Yeah, and over the years, we've developed a relationship with Verizon so that we use a lot of the tools that they have so that we can safely connect to our data. And I would say probably another maybe unspoken resource that we had was that Chad has a very good relationship with the managers, with the other managers in the city. And when this happened, we had managers that stepped up and said, hey, you know what, we have tablets that aren't being used, take them, get them to employees that need to have that remote access. And I think that's a credit to our department in that we do have a good relationship, that we aren't a department that says you shall not. We're a department that says, okay, you want to, let's figure out a good way to do it, that we're safe and that we're protecting our employees. So anything else you'd like to add, Chad?
No, nothing comes to mind. The spot has been great. I love working with everybody, all the department heads. Like you said, we do have a close relationship, and having that close relationship, we're able to easily work with each other and find solutions very quickly.
Yep, I would agree. So to touch on kind of the third path that we have in IT is the data side, which is somewhat my former position. It seems to have traveled with me to this new position, which is okay. But we do develop a lot of custom solutions inside the city so that we aren't having to pay a vendor to develop scripts for us to pull data and to push data. You know, with the CARES Act money, one of the things that we've had to do with this pandemic is there's money available for a variety of different things. One is arrearages for utilities. And so we have to go in and pull that data to provide to the state. There's a lot of different steps that happen with that. So that's a lot of what I do right now. I still deal with our website quite a bit. We are going through website refresh right now. So we work with departments to make sure that their content is up to date so that as we do that refresh, our site looks clean. We get rid of weird random stuff that's hanging out on our website. Our website has a lot of sprawl on it right now, and it's not easy to find things. So I work with our communications manager quite closely on making sure that happens. In regard to the IT director role, I'm in charge of our budget, of working with my team to say, hey, we've got to cut this amount of money due to what's happening right now. What's the best way to cut it so that we aren't affecting our employees, but that we're still able to maintain that infrastructure that Mike is in charge of, that we're still able to provide easy, fast solutions for our departments. I don't know if there's anything else you guys would like to add to this discussion, or you think we've pretty sufficiently covered what IT does.
Yeah, I think we're pretty good. When it comes down to it, it's like Chad said, it's relationships. That's really what makes our job easier, and ultimately we are better. We perform better to help our users.
I would agree. I think we work really hard at making sure that we have the right staff within IT that can work with our other departments. We support 34 different types of business. So if we were to look at this in the private sector, we support, there's eight of us currently that support 34 different types of business. That's a lot. We have to know a lot of different things, and we have to be very comfortable in working with those business managers to make sure that we're providing them the right solution. And if they come to us to say, hey, this is what I want to do, that we're like, okay, let us do a little bit of homework, and let's figure out how to make that happen for you. So with that being said, Chad, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, but I nailed it with the communication part. We are a small team, and having that communication really is how we make it in IT. So with that, and being open-minded, a group of open-minded people, where we'll take on any project and do the research on it. That's what we do, and that's what we're here for.
Yep. So thanks for watching our video today. We appreciate it. And I'm sure you, as the commissioners that are watching this video, will probably be in touch with us over the next several months as you get in and get settled and get comfortable. So thank you very much. And thank you, Mike and Chad, for joining me today.
Thank you.